We're going to hit a home run with this week's video with MLB The Show 23. Hello and welcome to Parents Guide to Games. My name is Stefan. Please like, share, and subscribe. Here at the games week of March 28th, 2023. The first game on our list is Colossal Cave. This came on Xbox Series X. The rating is everyone 10 and up. The content descriptions, fantasy violence. This is an action-adventure game in which players explore caverns while collecting items, solving puzzles, and battling various characters. From a first-person perspective, traverse caves, fight pirates, bears, and fantasy creatures. Some enemies attack players by using knives, spewing fire, and slashing them with swords. Players can throw axes at some enemies, using specific inventory items on others. During the puzzle sequences, player characters are depicted screaming as they fall from bridges and or chasms. The next game on our list is MLB The Show 23. This is coming on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, Nintendo Switch. The rating is everyone 10 and up. This is a baseball simulation game in which players compete with Major League Baseball teams in various modes: franchise, Diamond Dynasty, and Home Run Derby. Players can adjust an athlete's power and precision while pitching or batting, and can initiate defensive strategies while fielding. The next game on our list is Sifu. This is coming on Xbox Series X. The rating is mature. Content descriptions: blood, drug references, strong language, and violence. This is an action game in which players assume the role of a martial artist on a quest for vengeance against a gang. As players infiltrate the gang's hideout, they use punches, kicks to defeat enemy members in frantic meta-style combat. Players can pick up various objects and use as weapons against enemies. Combat is highlighted by cries of pain, impact sounds, and close-up camera angles of finishing blows. Enemies sometimes emit splashes of blood when hit, leaving small bloodstains on the ground. One cutscene depicts a character stabbed with a knife and bleeding out. In the hideout level, players can encounter a drug called Purple Mist, as which is depicted as mounds of purple powder and cut lines. Text and dialogue also references drugs. Now let's take a look at The Last of Us Part 1. It's coming on PC. The rating is mature. Content descriptions: blood and gore, intense violence, nudity, sexual content, strong language, and use of drugs. This is an action game in which players follow the story of Ellie and Joel on their continued struggle to survival post-apocalyptic Wyoming. From a third-person perspective, players traverse through small towns, wilderness, and ruined environments, using a variety of weapons, and kill affected mutants and human survivors in frantic combat. Some sequences enable players to use stealth attacks against enemies, approaching from behind, slitting their throats. Players also use explosives to set enemies on fire or blow enemies apart into limbs and bodies of chunks of flesh. Cutscenes depict further acts of violence: a human captive bound and hung from a noose before being disemboweled, assailants beating a restrained woman's arm with a hammer, characters shot in the head with arrows, a man repeatedly pistol whipped. The game contains some sexual content, a couple disrobing and briefly engaging in sexual acts. The couple is heard grunting and moaning as the screen turns black. Some zombie creatures are depicted with exposed breasts and giant genitalia. One sequence depicts two characters smoking marijuana joint in a room full of marijuana plants. Swear words appear in the dialogue. And the last game on today's list with a full description is The Last Worker. This got on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, PlayStation VR 2, Nintendo Switch, and PC. The rating is mature. The content descriptions: blood, fantasy violence, strong language, and suggestive themes. This is a narrative adventure game in which players assume the role of Kurt, the last remaining worker in a giant warehouse. From a first-person's perspective, players solve puzzles, engage in stealth, and gather intel while performing their daily routines of delivering and recycling packages. A handful of sequences allow players to attack enemies, tossing objects at attacking robots, using a saw blade appendage to hack apart drones. One sequence depicts a cow processing machine that emits splatters of blood. The game contains some suggestive material, a package containing items such as gimp mask, golden shower, circumcision trading kit, a dialogue and text with innuendo. Swear words also appear in-game. And the rest of the games on today's list are also coming out, but no information was available. Please follow Parents Guide Gaming on YouTube and Facebook, and email any questions at parentsg2g@gmail.com. And thank you for watching, and please subscribe.